You know that one of the most important things in politics is getting things done, which is already a very high bar for many politicians, at least. But it's not only important to get things done, you have to look really cool and powerful while doing them. And in this case, we could say that Trump knows how to, let manage the flair and the everything, the optics. That is the word, optics about everything. And we're going to analyze this picture, but I think that it was the best one from his meeting with Zelensky and the rest of the leaders of the European Union, and in the circumstances of the Russia and Ukraine war. But what makes this picture so imposing is a bit of the disposition of those who are in this. We see Georgia Meloni, there's a von der Leyen. One thing that I noticed is that in this picture, Keir Starmer from United Kingdom was completely cut. He was right here to Meloni's right, so he was just cut out. Maybe he didn't matter. Merz was thinking, Macron was also pensive, and Zelensky was also serious. I think this was a great way, even if you think that, but they are also serious. Well, they were discussing serious matters. Of course, people are dying in this war. But the most important thing is that you got pictures like this, like standard, boring pictures around a table. President Donald J. Trump hosts Ukrainian President Zelensky and European allies at the White House for a multilateral meeting on peace talks. All right, your classical picture. But this, we got another one. And by the way, I forgot to mention in this that one of the things that gives this the most power, imbues it with the most power, is that you can barely see Trump in here. You just see his right hand. That was interesting to see. It was really interesting to see in that picture. And that's one of the things that gives it the mystery. Who are all these people? All these country leaders sitting around. We know that it's Trump, of course. We know that it's him. And now we can see him talking to them, his, this effect of out of focus. And in this case, was von der Leyen, Merz, Macron, and the guy from Finland. We're kind of smiling at what Trump was saying, but we can imagine that he was maybe not joking about what is happening in Russia and Ukraine, but he was very... Maybe he was adding some levity to it. This is the other angle that I wanted to show you. And again, you have to remember that these pictures are not only taken, but also propagated, published in a way that convey a message. The most important thing is to convey a message. And I always get the same remarks, but it's just a picture. It's just that, no, this is not just a picture, because everybody has noticed that this looks like they are all of them are responding or are paying attention to the Don who is in the middle. That is how he projects power. Power not only as a mediator here in this conflict, but power, of course, as the leader of the United States. In terms of optics, this is not only important when you are talking to your allies at the Oval Office, which could be quite easy. You just make sure to arrange the chairs in some way. But the optics also were present when he was greeting Putin. And you remember that I don't know how they managed to synchronize this. Maybe I guess that they have ways of synchronizing this, that when Putin was right there walking next to Donald Trump, they made sure to have that B-2 bomber and the F-22s doing that, flying over them. That was a display of power. And I, I pity those who don't see this as a display of power. This is an absolute display of power. This is me who you are dealing with, Vladimir. So this is all made. This is all carefully crafted to send a message. And not only that, I found that it was really interesting that when they were taking the picture, all of them side by side, outside the, I think it was before or after, thanks to Margot Martin for sharing this one. It was not only the picture, but was a very brief clip of less than 10 seconds, very, very short clip of Trump making sure that everybody, look at this, they're all looking forward towards the camera. And before they are finished, I'm pretty sure that the photographer was still trying to get the right angle, the right shot. Trump made sure to turn to his right, all right, and point with his finger and say that was not a great day. And what was he talking about? There was a painting of the assassination attempt at the Butler. That was not a great day. And he made sure to frame, he used it as a framing mechanism, so that he frames the situation in which I survived that. Okay, I did that. Look at the patterns. We have several patterns here. I have the power over Vladimir. Okay, I am the one who is getting the team assembled right here. I am the one who survived a very real assassination attempt. And, there are also angles to this, as in President Trump showing Zelensky and President Macron his 4 more years hat. You know that some people call Trump a troll. And I disagree. Trump is not a troll. Trump is a master troll, because he makes sure to send messages that keep people talking. Then this is, of course, you could say that, okay, but what is the point of all that? The point of all that is that you cannot afford for people not to talk about you. You have to attract attention at all costs. And this is regardless if you are a politician. This is regardless if you are the president of the United States, of any other country. As a professional, as a human being, I always hear that kind of stuff as in, oh, you have to work in silence and let your work speak or scream or do the talking for you. I wish it was that simple. It is never that simple. You have to market yourself. You have to put yourself out there. You have to make people talk about you. And in this case, for example, the hat that says 4 more years, okay, this is not only the hat that says 4 more years, but there's also, if I'm not mistaken, there could be some Trump 2028 hats in here. I apologize for the resolution here, but I'm pretty sure that there's an 8 in there. But again, the 4 more years could mean many things, as the Democrats are foaming at the mouth that Trump said that maybe a war could delay any kind of elections in 2028. All of that is make sure it's like that is people taking the bait. It's like you make sure people are gonna talk about you either way. You have to make sure to control the narrative. And Trump surely knows how to control the narrative, throw in something. I got a comment, by the way, now that we are talking about the guy from Finland. I really don't. I know that I mentioned him on my X account when he arrived. I don't remember his last name. I apologize to my followers on Finland. But the thing is that Trump himself when he was at a podium and where he was with this press conference, he said that, oh, yeah, it's also the president of Finland, and he was right there in front of him, and Trump didn't know who he was. And I got messages as in, hey, Trump must have had some kind of advice about this, about, you know, like a picture. Okay, this is the guy from Finland. This is his last name. This is what's going on with Finland right now. This is what you should be asking. And people say, oh, that was rude from Trump to say. But at the same time, that is kind of a bait that his detractors, Trump detractors, can't, take to talk about that. And maybe the guy from Finland doesn't care, and maybe people don't care about this. But it's the kind of things, I am not justifying that to forget somebody's name or face. That is actually rude. I don't like that. I wouldn't like that. And the way Trump has been very, cordial with all of them. Is that a word that I can use? Cordial? So it was nice to all of them. Make sure to say that Zelensky is a war hero. All of this. I think that was a misstep. But again, he doesn't care. If we make missteps in those tiny details, make sure that your general message goes in this direction, in this optics. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss.